Joseph Crudup here. Welcome to the Joseph Crudup Show. Today is on January the 28th, 2020. And yes, it's a good day. Although we do got some snow. We did got snow in the morning when I woke up in the morning. Last night we got rain and then it turned to snow. And when I woke up it was snowing. And early in the morning when I woke up it was snowing. Early in the morning I see snow. So we do got snow and then today it started to melt. Well, anything that will happen. So I'm imagining this right now. This weather and this wintry weather starts. It's not gonna go away. Wintry weather is not gonna go away. And it's not gonna go away until spring. Although Sunday there's a forecast for Sunday. We had 90% chance of rain and then snow. I mean, you know it will happen and it could happen, and I just thankfully that it will turn 55 degrees to next week. It will turn up to 50s in the next week. So anyway, we're gonna go for this, and we're gonna go for this right now. Today is a good day, and people may have lost their minds, and also what was supposed to be a snowy day here and now it begins to fall. Here's what I just saw. That was last night. So let's go today. It says snow. Let's go today on the ABC 11. It says in WTVD, snow has stopped falling across most of the ABC 11 video area after a burst of communication overnight left areas north and east of the triangle with several instances of precipitation. Granville, Halifax, Portland, Vance, and Warren counties were all under a windstorm warning that expires at 8 a.m. Eastern. Many other counties in the area were under a windstorm voucher. In Rossville and Womerville Rapids, the National Weather Service reported 4 inches of snowfall. 3 inches were larger than around Forest Lake, with 2.5 inches recorded in Wilson. Snow started to fall just after 2 a.m. in central North Carolina. Wattsboro police said they will have responded to several crashes throughout Portland County since midnight, around 6 a.m. A tree went down across Highway 158, blocking the road and affecting some power lines. Our crews saw a car stuck on the side of the road in Roxborough, as well as a semi-truck struck on US 64 in Rocky Mount. As of 7 a.m., Henderson had around 4,000 power outages across to the Duke Energy power outage map. There were also pockets of outages around Nash, Franklin, Poston, Granville, and Warren counties. ABC meteorologist Don Big Riddles Sugarman said precipitations will move out all regional between 5 to 8 a.m. beginning in the southwest part of the area. Skies will clear out mid-morning with the sun returning. Temperatures will stay well below average in the 40s, and wind chills will be in the 30s for most of the day, with a steady wind gusts around 25 miles per hour. The above freezing temperatures and gusty winds should help melt most of the snow. However, lows will be in the 20s tonight, meaning any leftover snow will refreeze. In Wood County, snow plows were out around 5 a.m. and some roads were covered with essentially moisture. while the snow total was 1.1 inches, while 2.2 inches fell in Norton Johnson County. Further only saw a trace. On Wednesday, the winter weather advisory was issued for the northern half and all Villareal area from midnight through 8 a.m. on Thursday. The advisory insists the Triangle counties, along with areas no bolder than 185 and I-85 and I-95. This looks to be a northern to all event last February, which dropped 1.3 inches one even, but did not include it on the world's months. Chief meteorologist Chris Holdman said. Now, should be a very wet snow, which will be a pretty on the trees. It's not often it will go from the 50s and sunshine to snow in less than 12 hours. Should be interesting. Wednesday night's rain has the North Carolina's Department on Transportation's salt and sand trucks on standby due to the possibility that it will wash away. Crews are expected to report for duty between midnight and 4 a.m. The NCDOT expects much of the winter precipitation to build quickly, but the main concern is how elevation roads and bridges. The St. Helens region will see yes including combination from Foley's to a happiness. Truckally, all snow events happen when cold air is already in place. It must move into the wind. That's what happens 21 years ago. That's what happened 21 years ago in one of the biggest snow events the Triangle has ever seen. January 2000, 21 years ago, we had the big snowstorm when I was 16. When I was 15, we had a big snowstorm 21 years ago. That was in January 2000. And we had to cancel our schools. Because there's this big snowstorm coming. You know, do you all remember that? That was 21 years ago. And that hasn't stopped. It hasn't even stopped. Although we had a big snowstorm here. This and that. And we had like 10 inches snow. 10 to 15 inches. That's the biggest snowstorm ever. Here in the Triangle. Here in Butner. Here all town in Granville County in Butner. That's a lot. All the schools are canceled. All work businesses, towns, and everybody's having a great time. That's what me and my nephew were here. They were here and it must have never happened. It happened 21 years ago. My dad was about 57 years old and when he saw that happen. My mama was like 48 years old when that happened. And now things have changed for about now. Everything, the snowstorm, it was the biggest snowstorm I've ever seen in my doggone life. 18 inches, that I remember. We had to keep the dog in the house. Do you think it's just as bad? Yes, it is. But it was a fun day on 2000. Fun day in the winter of Wonderland on January 2000. That was 21 years ago. That's one of my best memories. So they had to have the makeup days here until the end of school year on June the 2nd, 2000. When I was 16. So, it happens. For real. Really happens. So, things can happen just like this. Can happen every single time. And they were thinking about something else that could happen here with the snow. So Sunday we'll have rain. We'll have rain much to continue. So it's winter time, and they said on this rail, on the rail channel, it says it's gonna be something nice. Rain and snow. And it says on Sunday, the 31st, the weather channel says in Butler, freezing rain in the morning, changing to rain in the afternoon. Highs in the 37s, winds east at 5 to 10 miles per hour, chance of precipitation 80%. Then on Sunday night, a few showers early with overcast skies later, low 32, winds light and variable, chance of rain 30%. So they said about this rain on the way. Yes, it is. It's gonna be a lot of stuff going on here in Butler. But it's winter time, folks. You don't even know. You just don't even know what's gonna happen. So now, we're gonna keep this right here. And now we got this whole long stuff going. We got this whole long stuff in this rail going on. Now we go on this coronavirus stuff. We talk about Dr. Anthony Fauci. We talk about the vaccines. Yes, it is what it is. And now the list. We'll go to CNN. That is today, folks. CNN says now. It says the U.S. declared its first cases of more than alright. Now, here's what has happened here, folks. Here's what has happened. All I know is we can never think about this coronavirus. And then we got about, there were a lot of people, there were deaths, there were cases, there were billions in cases. That hasn't started there. And here in Granville County here today, 4,598 total cases, 71 deaths. And totals in North Carolina, total cases are 736,000, 8,959 deaths here in North Carolina. And that's all you have to do is know. Make sure you get that mask on, wash your hands, follow social distancing, and make sure you do just that. Now, the U.S. is in a race against time with new coronavirus variant, scientists warn. And it shall say, it just gets worse and worse and worse every day. Every day continues since last year. Now, here's the NBC News that says the United States is in a race against time to vaccinate as many people. The United States is in a race against time to vaccinate as many people as possible before other potentially more worsened variants of the coronavirus emerge, according to experts. Vaccination efforts in the U.S. have been hamstrung by delivery issues, insufficient supplies, and hesitant to get the shots. But to avert other sores and infections, hospitalizations, and deaths, scientists said it may be necessary to rethink how the vaccines are rolled out to ramp up the number of shots administered and to protect against new strains of the virus. We really are in a race against new variants, says William. This is professor of the Department of Clothing at University of Maryland School of Public Health, We need to prepare as much as possible before things increase to a level that puts more strains on our healthcare systems. The vaccines, one made by President Buttigieg and another by Moderna, seems to be effective against a more contagious variant that was first reported in November in the United Kingdom, where separate benefits this is tough to have in bosses in South Africa. However, only last studies by Moderna show a drop in the level of antibodies produced by the company's vaccine, although Moderna said antibodies remain above protected levels. The vulnerability prompted the company to start upgrading its estate vaccine to make it more effective against emerging strains. In the meantime, it is acceptable for states to try to vaccinate as many people as possible, says Ali Monadat, a professor of global health at the University of Washington. That could mean thinking beyond the phrases in proposing that politicizing insurance age groups in professional and instead offering vaccinating to anyone who wants one. You can save lives by targeting the vaccine to the older, but there will be a point in time when we have enough vaccines, when these phase for who goes first, second, and third should be expedited immediately, Monadat said. Monadat cautioned that the U.S. is not at that point yet, but there are still too many stones to work through during the distribution of vaccines across the country. The rollout of vaccines have been bumpy, with some states struggling to estimate all the doses they receive and others being forced and canceling appointments because of double supplies. The reason we're doing this phase proposing is because there is limited supply, says Deputy Becky Taylor, the Associate Professor of Martians at the University of Arizona. By and large, if we can fix the supplies issues, we can vaccinate as many people as fast as possible. While a stable pipeline between manufacturers and distributions, Malakar said, the country remains available should a new strain begin circulating that is more collaborative or more deadly or that can invade the current vaccines. Now they said the prospect is not interesting and unfolded, says Dr. Robert Clough, Health Medical Strains and Policy Development Life Scientist. The more infecting people there are over time, the more chance the virus has to mutate, and Clough, and professor of medicine at Duke University, who was commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration in the Obama administration. If we don't quell the pandemic, there's a high risk that one of those multitudes will be able to escape the vaccine or that vaccine antibodies or both. That makes it all the more important to curb outbreaks with standout humanitarian measures as a rally such as rally mass practicing social distancing and avoiding laws or indoor gatherings, as vaccine resources try to stay at one step ahead of the environment virus, according to the experts. It's like a competition between the virus and science, Clover said. But there is some cause for expert, Becky Sheldon said, pointing to signs that the Biden administration is monitoring a failed response that is more common than that it's proceeding. Supply issues could also be evaluated soon if other vaccines, including ones deployed by Johnson & Johnson and Novartis, are exhausted for use in the U.S. It has been frustrating, but I'm pretty confident that some of the bus drugs will start to get eased. So that's what happens for us when people get the vaccines. When they get old, when people get older, they get a vaccine, and yes, people have to continue to get the vaccines. Then with 65 years of age, up to 65 years of age, then up to 45 years of age, then up to 35 years of age, and teenagers. So things can happen even more they get a vaccine. And it is. So now I'm seeing this for forever, but we have seen this more importantly. Just the day before, it has to start in. So it doesn't matter. So now look, I'm saying this before. Everything, look, I'm saying this before. This could be a blessing. If people get vaccine, it will be a blessing. It will happen for sure. So now, what can happen, when it can happen, we don't know for sure. Now sports. Now we have sports here for us. So we had the NFL. It starts here and it says the Deshaun Watson official request trade from Texas. Adam Schefter breaks down the details and it says Houston, the quarterback Deshaun Watson has requested a trade from the Texas Laws. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Thursday. Watson made the request to the team weeks ago. Sources told ESPN. The Texans head coach David Cullen has not and will not let a lot to know Watson's thinking. Sources told ESPN, and the quarterback hasn't spoke to new Texas General Manager Nick Caesar or executive Jack Espeland. Watson, who signed a full year with $156 million contract extension in September, is under contract through 2025 season. He has a no-trade clause, but given the length of his contract and the possibility of franchise tagging him for 3 years, the Texans could choose not to trade him and will have control of how his rights through the 2028 season. So it was a lot of money. Now, the trade request comes after Watson was reportedly unhappy with the processes used by the team to hire Caesar in early January. If the Texans choose not to trade Watson, he could opt to not report to military team achievements or training camp, but at cost. Houston can fine Watson $95,878 for missing minicamp and can fine him $50,000 per day for each day of training camp, missing plus 1 week's salary, with $620,000 for each preseason game missing. In the unlikely scenario that Watson chooses to retire, the Texans can collect $21.6 million. After Watson signed his contract extension last year, he was emotional as he discussed how happy he was to commit to the franchise and the city as well. So this is what has happened to Watson for anything else. But I gotta go. Peace out, everybody.